do this.
We're live.
Yay! Okay, so will you be able to see the comments on here? Because I'm trying to see if people are.
Happened before. I went on YouTube and then came back to the StreamYard page to comment to this.
Okay, so if like we're doing it on here and then it'll just automatically upload to YouTube. Can you see it on your phone? I'm like super curious. Oh, okay. I see live comments over here.
It should.
Hi. Oh my God, there's Isata. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see it. That's cool. Your face is frozen again. Yes, they can be so hard to set up. This is part of the reason I don't like technology very much. It's really annoying. Oh, okay. I think it's reloading. Okay, there, I can see now because it'll just randomly show up, and I'm like,
I'm convinced that something is haunted on my end, but it's fine.
Stop for what? Oh my God, no.
Okay, now that the comments are there, I'm back.
You're good.
Okay, Assalamualaikum everybody. Welcome to the second Iqra Child's live show for the month of February.
Yes.
It's been a month. It's been a whole month.
Yeah, it's been, yeah. And this is a leap year too, so February, like, there's 29 days, which is...
Yes.
Right?
A little extra blackness for everybody.
Exactly. Just a little bit. Just a little for the culture, you know, nothing too much.
I love that. If you guys don't know already, this is my co-host Sumaya from the channel SumayaInBooktopia, who is amazing. She does amazing photography on her Bookstagram, and also her channel is just so adorable. I love her so much, and I knew that I wanted to have her a part of the Iqra Trials with me. Probably my favorite part of the Iqra Trials is creating this community of Muslim readers, because there's so many of us who we're not connected. You know?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
There's no match. Okay, so yeah, you go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Go ahead.
I mean, she did a great job introducing me, but as she said, my name is Sumaya. My channel is SumayaInBooktopia, and I do have a Bookstagram where I like do a mashup of photography and my love of books, and also kind of incorporate my hijabs into my photography, which is really awesome. But
it's stunning if you haven't seen it already.
I mean, listen, I do what I can, but you should definitely check it out. It's just like a time. So yeah, that's me. I've been on BookTube for like 2 years now, so it's been a minute. I'm not a newbie anymore, so yeah, it's been fun.
Oh my God, it feels like a lot of us have been on BookTube for a while.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it feels much longer than 2 years, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the challenge for the month of February was to read a book by a Black Muslim author. Yeah. So the book that I read was actually a memoir. It was Unashamed, The Musings of a Fat Black Muslim by Leah Vernon. And what did you read, Sumaya?
I read Mirage by Sumaya Dawood. And this is like a fantasy novel. It's really great. I love it. It's about this girl, Amani, who basically and the princess' name is Maram, and the people hate her, so they try and use Amani basically as a body double to kind of fend off the death threats that Maram has been receiving, and it's really exciting. I love it. It's so good. Yeah. Yeah, that was
I read Mirage like last year. It was amazing. I actually read it twice. First time I read it, I think I had this read it. What's the word? Yeah, that. And I wasn't really paying attention to like the nuances of the novel. But then I read it again last year for the reading rush for the I think the challenge was like read a book with purple number. And I was like, okay, this is the only purple book I have. Let me read it again. And I was like, whoa. Oh, okay. There's like the story, the thing I was missing before. Yeah. And then book 2 is coming out really soon.
Yeah. Have you seen the cover?
So excited. Oh my god. It's gorgeous.
Listen, I'm gonna be in the bookstore the second it comes out. Like, just take my money. Say less.
Yeah, we don't have anything to discuss. Just give me the book. Like, thank you.
Tell me what the synopsis is. Just give me the book. I'll take it. Just take my money. I'm broke, but anyway, here's take all the coins.
The first book, the cover is actually really pretty as well. Like both of them are
both of them are
in different ways. They're both really pretty.
Yeah,
I love that. It looks so. You can just tell like the Islamic influence. You can look on the cover and see that she's Muslim, and I love that.
Right, this is like a pattern that almost. Like on a pattern.
Yeah.
But it's really pretty. You're like, yeah, there's no mistaking it that this is written by a Muslim author. Well, other than the fact her name is right there, but
her name, yeah.
Yeah, other than her name. But it's like you mentioned something about how the first time you read the book, you didn't pick up on like the subtle nuances. And I feel like that might be the same situation with me because I just read it for the first time. And it's definitely a book that I would love to reread again. So I feel like I might be in the same situation as you were in the beginning. So I'm definitely interested to hear like what you picked up the first time and what you did, like what you picked up again the second time reading it. Because I feel like that always happens with any book that you read.
That's true. Let us know in the comments what books you guys read for the month of February. I know a couple of you guys also read Mirage. You guys also read Unashamed. So let us know what books you decide to read.
Yeah.
Or for Sajid. Sajid. We love you.
What's
well, let's take it 3 ways. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about the books that we've read. We're gonna talk about. Honestly, we can talk about every book that we've read in February, but we're gonna obviously start with the book for the Iqra Child. I purposely did it so that you can read a book to satisfy the challenge for the Iqra Child and still have a TBR. I hate those like readathons or challenges where you have to abandon your entire TBR.
Yeah,
just to read. It's very frustrating.
Readathons, I can't. It's too much.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And also, some readathons are like within a week, and people are like, I read 10 books in 1 week. I was like, how? I don't understand. I barely have time.
Like, when do you sleep?
Right? Like, do you sleep at all? What's going on? But also, it's like amazing that you can read that many books within like a short span of time. But
yeah. How?
I know.
How?
It's,
I don't understand.
I don't. My brain does not.
That's about to be you. Aren't you on like your 25th book?
That was because I had a break. So Allah blessed me, and He was like, "Listen, I'm gonna give you some time off because I didn't have a good homework. So I was like, let me get some reading done." And before I knew it, I read 5 books. I was like, Alhamdulillah, but also what's going on? Like I don't think it's gonna happen.
Every time I go onto my Instagram, she has a new book, and I'm like.
It was just as much of a surprise to me as it was to you. So we're both just as shook. I'm trying to read.
Someone said they read Tahiry's memoir. I know somebody else read that. I heard that it was really, really, really good.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, I want to read that. I would love to read that. I love it.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Ibtihaj Muhammad is a Black Muslim hunter, and she's the first person to wear hijab while representing the United States at the Olympics, and she also won a bronze medal, I believe. She now has her own modest fashion line, and she's an author, and she has a memoir, which I heard is really good, and I would love to read it later on for my memoir challenge, which I forgot which month it's for, but
yeah. I believe she also wrote Wood's book in collaboration with like
Yeah,
SK
Ali.
Yeah, who's another one of my favorite people. Queen, I love her.
SK Ali.
We do. Yeah. Like in this household, we
love her.
Yeah, I usually don't even.
Time to get into books.
Sorry, what was that?
The time to get into some books. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, do you want to go first?
Sure. What should I talk about?
Give me your good, bad, and ugly. For Mirage. Don't spoil.
I won't.
We do semi-spoilers. You can kind of
real hard. I'll let you know. But I will. The whole story is about. So that's why I never do reviews, because I'm like, I can't do a non-spoiler review because I'll be talking about everything. Yeah. So let me try. Yeah. But the things that
honestly, the details of that.
Exactly, because it's like the little. That's for me. I'll try to share the details without spoiling the story, but it's a really good book if you haven't read it yet. The thing that I really liked about the story overall was like the relationship between Maram and Amani, because even though it started off really aggressively, because she got kidnapped, so to be a body double for a princess whose life is in danger, they
snatched her up.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, hello. And they didn't even like explain anything. They just took her. But even though Amani kind of knew why they were taking her, she realized it very quickly. But the relationship between Maram and Amani, as the story goes on, the way it progresses, is really, really well done. And I feel like you kind of get to see why Maram is the way that she is, because you get to see the life that she grew up in, because she is he's both Kushayla and what's the other one? I forget.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So she's basically like biracial. So she has like two sides of her that are like pulling her in two different directions, and you get to see why she acts the way that she acts because of the environment that she grew up in. And because Amani is really kind and gentle, she's really open-minded to that, and she sees a side to Madam that most people would just generally ignore because they only get to see the harsher, more aggressive side of her. And I really, really adored the relationship and the friendship and even sisterhood that they built as the story went along.
Yeah.
Even Amani's relationship with Idris, I was like, okay, first of all, technically he's engaged to Madame, so y'all are like, it's a little iffy, a little shady, but you're so
together, a little messy,
right? For the love, but also you're so cute. Like what? So I was a little bit conflicted about that. I didn't know how to reconcile with the fact that they're in love, even though Idris is engaged to Madame. But that was one of the things that I personally enjoyed, was their relationship and the progression of their relationship, and even Madame's character development as the story goes along, because I was quick to kind of write her off because I'm like, oh, she's the antagonist, she's rude, she's mean, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And as the story went on, I was like, oh, hold on, she has a different, softer, more gentle side to her that most people don't get to see. So I loved seeing that. I thought it was beautifully written. The bad, it's not necessarily bad. It's just things that I feel like I wish I would have seen more of. But because it's her first book, it's a debut, obviously it's not going to be perfect. And I think that's one of the things that I like about that, is that there were so many things that I enjoyed, but also so many things that I felt like could have been improved. But that's, you could say that about honestly any book. And I definitely would like to see more of how Amani being kidnapped impacted her family. Because we saw that, but then it was very quick, and we never saw it again. And hopefully, I think that's something that I want to see in book 2. But in the first book, I definitely would have liked to see that, because to have your daughter, your sister just be taken from you will have like very detrimental impacts. And I wish we could have seen that. And I also,
her family relationship was so strong. She was really connected to her family, specifically her siblings.
Relationship with her family, especially her brothers. And I was like, yeah, but other than that, honestly, absolutely adore. And I would definitely read it again. Also, the cover. I can't.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful, like. But yeah, I wonder if you read a memoir, right? So that's vastly different than because I read fiction, but you read like.
I read a memoir.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a memoir reader. I read my first kind of memoir. Like I think 2 months ago, I forgot what it's called. That's terrible. Oh, obviously, Stories from My Timeline by Kiwa, who is a YouTuber, and she's a comedian. She's a Black plus-size YouTuber. I love her. So I read that. So when I was looking for a book I wanted to read for February, I was like, I'm feeling this memoir. I love Leah Brennan. I follow her on Instagram for probably like 3 years now.
Yeah, she's dope.
When I found out that she was writing a book, yeah, I love her. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And you can tell she knows how to write from her Instagram captions. It's funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like her captions are in depth. They're honest. They're, you know, they bring out something new. They make you question things, and that's literally how her writing was in the book. I'm not the biggest fan of color. I think I said this already, but the cover is very like it catches your eye for sure. And I think that was definitely intentional. Just what it means to take up space in a Black Muslim body.
Yeah, because that's not a book that you can look at and just walk by without stopping.
No, she's wearing yellow pants. Yeah. No,
I would not walk past that book. I'd be like,
is cute as well.
Right? Ooh.
Yeah. So I should have annotated it, but I didn't. I think I have this weird thing about annotating now. But yeah, so what initially attracted me to the book was the fact that I love Leah Vernon and I love what she stands for and what she talks about. And I knew from her Instagram that this was going to be super unapologetic and just real and raw. And I would say that I know for sure there are a good amount of Muslim people that will probably not like this story, only because it's a sense of brutal honesty that unfortunately our community is not used to on a public level. Like unfortunately, a lot of Muslim people we're taught to we're taught to hide things to the point where it's detrimental to people.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, and her honesty it's straight up. Like even how she talks in the book, like she curses and she's very casual. And I know that's gonna upset a lot of people, but for me, I just read it as if like I don't know, like it was my big sister giving me advice. You know? Yeah. It was like no nonsense. Let me just tell you like it is. And I feel like
a sense of intimacy to that too. Because you have this person who's like, I'm just gonna give it to you. Keep it 100, no BS, like straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she also doesn't claim to be this big representative of Muslims or hijabis at all. She's not. She's very aware of who she is and how that portrays to the outside. And I love that because for a lot of, I feel like hijabi influencers, there's a sense of, there's a little bit of like naivete with them. They're just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, as if they don't know they have this big platform, you know?
Right.
They'll be very confused, very like, oh, I had no idea, very, you know what I'm saying? And she was just very much like, no, I know how I'm presenting myself to the world, and I also know how the world sees me. So let's talk about the bad first. I don't think I necessarily have anything bad to say about the book. I do feel like sometimes the timing was all over the place, but I think that tends to happen with memoirs. Depending on what type of style they're telling the story, it can be very like chronological, or sometimes it's just about which event impacted them the most. So sometimes you saw her jumping around from like being really young to being a little older. So that was a little bit confusing to keep up with. I think that's probably my only thing. I really, really liked her writing, and I was surprised by how well she wrote. Only because when I was thinking about it as a memoir, you see a lot of like influencers and YouTubers writing memoirs, and you'd be like, "What is this? Like, what is this? Like, who told you this is a good idea. Like, stick to videos. But she actually went to school for creative writing.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So she can write, and she talks about how she loved writing fantasy and dystopian, and it wasn't until one of her professors made her write a nonfiction like essay for a project, and he told her, he was like, nonfiction is something you should definitely look into, and she immediately started writing her story then, and she talks about a lot of raw things. She talks about how she had an abortion. She talks about the abuse she faced in her marriage, and also how she was in a domestic relationship where she was getting somewhat abused, and she was also abusing her husband. It was a very toxic situation. She talks about being married young. I think she got married at 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. I think she got married at like 21, and her husband was maybe like 18. He was significantly younger than her. Okay. She also talks about the fact that her mom had certain mental health struggles, but her mom continuously got married a lot in her life. And she talks about how, growing up in Black Muslim communities, and unfortunately how marriage isn't really seen as sacred anymore. And that's something I was like, girl, speak on it. It was so real. The way that we hear about the people how one day they just saw each other, and the next day they're married, and then a month later they're divorced. Like, we see these stories play out. We know the people. We've seen it before. She also talks about toxic culture in the masjid. Like, I think at her masjid, there was a girl who, it was this trigger warning for violence is kind of vulgar, but this young girl, she was maybe like 15, 16. She was active in the masjid, and they found out that she had killed herself and shot herself in the head in her basement. And they found that it was because she was being sexually assaulted by the men and women in her family, pretty much her entire life.
Yeah.
And these people that were in her family were prominent members of like their masjid and their Muslim community. And she was just talking about how she will always remember that story because it was, I think it was just symbolic of what secrets can do to people. Yeah. Like, unfortunately, as Muslim people, we hear, safeguard each other's sins and, blah, 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 blah. And to an extent, of course, like, don't be out here snitching on yourself, revealing stuff that's unnecessary. But that's completely different from somebody hurting you or you needing help and not feeling encouraged to speak on it. It's a completely different thing. It was a lot. Her talking about
Saints and Misfits, because like that's a fictional novel, but that's essentially what's happening with like sexual assault. Even like because the guy is a prominent member of the Muslim community, he's part of member of the masjid, everybody loves him, and so there's that power dynamic too, because now you have this person who doesn't have a lot of power in the community versus somebody who everybody knows and loves, and you're having to struggle with having terms with that, and it's like it's rough, it's really hard.
Yeah, but the stories are so necessary and important to hear about because if we don't talk about it, there's no way we can change it. And I think the biggest thing that I can say, even if you're not a fan of how she speaks, how vulgar and honest she is, you can at least appreciate the fact that this is a thought. This makes you think and question your beliefs and question your community. And that's important. Yeah, even if you don't like or agree, I think it's important that we read things that make us a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because that's how you grow from that place of uncomfortability.
Right. And I think it's also nice to sometimes expose yourself to something that you wouldn't necessarily always agree with just to get a different story. Like, you're not going to agree with it, and sometimes it might make you uncomfortable, but sometimes it's okay to sit with that uncomfortable feeling and kind of unpack why that makes you uncomfortable. How that makes
and that's life. Literally being put into situations you probably don't like.
Right. That's legit. That's it. You're just gonna go through some things that you're gonna hate, but in the end, you learn something about yourself, whether you want to or not. You're gonna have to you're gonna come out of that situation having learned something, even if that was a terrible situation. It's just. Sometimes I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes you really just have to go through things and learn it. Another thing that really hit me was her relationship with her mother. So she had a lot of siblings. I think she had like, let's say 6 or 7 in total. And her mom, she said she can't even count how many marriages her mother's had. None of her siblings, I think, have the same father. And her mom is a believer. Her mom converted after she was married to this Muslim guy. And you know the story how a lot of black Muslim people after they convert, they get really, really like deep into the deen. They're like all the way on the extreme side because they're just like, we're not gonna do this, that. Like they find the structure and they stick to it. Like they're like that. And so her mom was like that. She never went to homeschool. Literally, she was homeschooled up until basically college. All of her siblings, and they were poor, so it was not a lot of space, a lot of kids. You know, I guess her mom was getting remarried on and off, and the craziest part was her father was in her life. He just didn't really want to be there, if that makes sense. It was kind of a situation where I guess he like lived in town and he knew this was his kid, and so it was like, he couldn't avoid it at all. There was also a situation he had stolen from her. Girl, it was a lot. It was a lot. But her relationship with her mother really struck me because, I mean, if you watch my channel, it's no secret that I have a pretty strained relationship with my family, specifically my mom. And so reading about another Black Muslim girl who can relate to something I never felt like I could put into words.
Right.
Even the good moments and the bad moments, just the dualities of what it's like to have a somewhat unhealthy relationship with a parent, about how you have these amazing good days where you feel like, oh, everything is better and we're gonna be fine, and then the lows are really, 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 really low. Because having that tension with a parent, it's different from having tension with another person, because everything you know of for the beginning or most of your life stems from your parent, you know? Right. So having that conflict, you can see how in the book that makes her question her entire life. She's like, my mother is not helping me grow. She's not really supporting me. She's making herself an obstacle in my life. Like, what does this mean? Like, if you're not being reaffirmed or supported by literally the person that gave birth to you, you're naturally just going to be like, what do I do here? You know?
That's very sorry. Because you have this person who is supposed to be in your corner 24/7, all of the time. And for them to be like, no, that's very jarring, and that's very daunting to have to kind of go through life experiencing that. And it kind of changes your parents are your first socialization, basically, because they teach you everything to kind of go out into the world. And to have the one person who's supposed to love you unconditionally not do that is like, oh, that's I don't even.
And it was what's the word? It was, I don't know, I keep saying this, it was just real. It was raw, and I do want to talk about the fact that it's very annoying when you have certain marginalized groups like Black people, Black women specifically, but also Muslims, more than I feel like other marginalized groups were really taught that the representation we see of ourselves is indicative of who we are as people. Like all of us. It's like, oh, we see one version of you, like we see a movie like Hala, and that's how y'all all are. And I'm like, no.
I'm sorry. Excuse me? What? And like some people would know that, like that's common sense, right? Because you wouldn't think one Black Muslim person, one story, because that's what you teach, but then you'd be surprised how many times you have to remind people of that. And it's like, listen, at some point you get to the point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not teaching you all anything. Go back to my room and leave me alone.
And we put this weight on Black Muslim women, or Black women specifically, that you are supposed to be the representative of everybody, specifically hijabis. It's so frustrating because on top of what it means to wear hijab, now I have to be the poster hard for every Muslim person ever, even though we all are in different stages of our iman, we all have our different struggles, like Allah tested us all differently, but somehow me, because I wear this scarf on my head, I am now supposed to be your go-to for everything ever related to every Muslim person in the world.
Right. It's like, listen, Google continues to be free, okay? Make use of that, please. Almost everyone has a smartphone now. And I think one of the things really frustrating about being visibly a hijabi is that everyone thinks that every Muslim woman wears their hijab the same way. It's like hijab means different things for different Muslim women. Just because I choose to be visibly hijabi does not mean that I can tell you why some other Muslim woman chooses not to wear hijab. Because I don't know her. I'm not in her life. Like, how am I supposed to tell you that?
We're not related. We're not related. I mean, my sister in Islam, but
that's it. That's as far as it goes. I can't really tell you anything else. And you'd be surprised how many times I have people ask me, it's like, why do some Muslim women not wear the hijab? And I'm like, it's like, Allah, please give me the patience.
Literally, it's like I don't know. I can't answer that question for you.
Exactly. And it's like you would think people would just naturally know this information because you're like, hey, that's just one random Muslim person. There's no way they're gonna know, right? But people wouldn't. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I think that's the other thing that's crazy about when people, like when non-Muslim folks try to practice solidarity in terms of like when they do like the World Hijab Day, like, but that's then now you're excluding Muslim women who aren't visibly hijabi, because then it's like right, and that I think is part of the reason why I don't like the whole non-Muslim woman wearing hijab for a day situation. It's like, no, that's not. I don't. Yeah.
It's a lot more than that. It's definitely a lot more.
Very nuanced.
It's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
I've also experienced like non-Muslim people trying to simplify hijab. I guess because they just don't actually understand. So they try to simplify things as if like, oh, but like you're a Muslim, so why are they doing that? And like, why are they doing this? And it's like, because we're people and we all sin. Like we all struggle with different things. We all do X, Y, and Z. It's like this idea that Muslims have to be perfect, and that's so suffocating. It doesn't even bring room for you to be the best version of yourself because you're too busy trying to live up to something that's not real, rather than visualizing a more attainable way that you can practice better. Or instead of just telling people like, oh, stop doing this or throw on a hijab, for somebody it might just be easier in regards to modesty for her to like watch how she speaks, to stop cursing or to stop like, to like modesty is so much more than just the scarf on your head. It's a lot more in depth than that. You see a lot of people kind of make it simple as if but just put a scarf on, and I'm like,
I was like, it's not that simple though. It's really not. And I think the people who oftentimes have a hard time understanding that are folks within the Muslim community too. Because it's like, listen, first of all,
oh my God. Oh my God. These Muslims on TikTok, I'm gonna need them to stop. I'm gonna need them to stop.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. They're a whole different. I swear to God, they're just a whole different. I'm like, it's a lot.
And she talked about that in the book too. She talked about how literally the time that she's been sexualized, that she's been, treated as vulgar, and the time that she felt the most like immodest and insecure was by Muslim men. Like they will literally, it'll be after Juma and they will literally hit on you, walking out the next shit. And then want to get on social media and tell you to take off your makeup, and it's just like
the hypocrisy of it all. Yeah,
it's frustrating and it's so exhausting for Muslim women to live under that pressure. When in reality, we're just trying to figure it out for other people, and we can. And that doesn't mean like don't hold people to a certain standard. Like of course we should still try to be, the best Muslims that we can be to the best of our ability. But at the end of the day, like everything everything is a part of Allah's plan, even your mess ups, even your flaws. All of that is important to developing who you are as a person. And a lot of people, you see them practicing, but it's not genuine. You know, it's not really there for them. And that's why I really wanted to obviously do the Iqra, which is really important, but specifically Black Muslims, because we're here and we have stories in so many different forms. I read a memoir and you read a fantasy novel, because that's so important. Like, it's not just our stories don't look the same. They're not told one way. Somebody has to say they read a children's book. Like, I love that. Like, this is what this is all about, looking for Muslim representation. And if we don't see it, we need to talk about it so that we can see more. Like, I want to see a lot more Muslim memoirs. I want to see a lot more Muslim children's books. I want to see, I want to see so many more things written by Black Muslim people. Because
it's crazy. Like, every time I go to the bookstore now and I'm in a section, I'll see like Love from ACC or We Hunt the Flame, and I would lose my mind, because that's not something that I ever saw when I was younger. Like, when I was in middle school, I couldn't walk into a bookstore and see somebody like S.K. Ali or Hafsa Faisal's books in those bookshelves. So to have that now, I can't even begin to explain how much that means to me. So when people talk about representation matters, it's not just something that they're saying just to say it. Like, it actually can make a difference, a huge difference, especially if you're like,
you can feel it when you're knowledge. It's literally, you're just like, wow, like, you see it. And that moment is really important and special for so many people. And that's really the point of the Iqra. Like, even I love the amount of non-Muslim people that have been reading Muslim stories, because obviously we are the minority and we need a lot more support in the publishing industry specifically, because we're just going to keep getting films and books and stuff like Hala. We're just going to keep getting that. If we don't have people being like, oh, okay, let me support this type of story, or let me read more diverse stories. And unfortunately, I mean, the topic of like diversity and representation, I know Sajid made a really good video talking about like visibility versus representation, and that is really important to make sure we distinguish, okay, this is good representation and this is just a Muslim character. They're really different things, and both are necessary and valid, because like we were saying, sometimes it's just seeing something, like even a regular, just seeing a Muslim character, you be like, I see you. You're not online, but I see you. I see you. That's important too, but representation is definitely another thing. We definitely need to be a lot more, I feel like, not strict, intentional about it. That's the word. We need to be a lot more intentional about it, because unfortunately, I feel like we're currently like, oh my gosh, Muslim people. And it's just like, okay, but how are we being portrayed? Like, what is that Muslim person doing or saying? Even in a lot of my research to find books to add to my Google Doc list. If you guys don't know, I have an entire Google Doc page about the Iqra child with books by Muslim people. I really need to update.
Right. I love how you were like, now you have no excuse to say there's no Muslim representation, because you're like, listen, okay, here it is. Here's the list.
But a lot of those people, I realized, not a lot, but when I was doing research, I realized that a lot of the Muslims that write the stories that are a little bit iffy, internment,
there it is. Here we go. Give it to me. Come on. It's coming. I know it's coming.
So I just have to do it. I'm still waiting for somebody to buy it off of me. Please, somebody take, like, I'm looking at it. Like, I don't want it. Like, please.
Oh my God. I never bought it. Listen. I could talk about that book for hours. Not even when we started. Yes, you see, that's also another one. Okay, I kind of want to read it just to kind of see, and also subject myself to.
For the month
Honestly,
of
I think I'm
August with
so
Edgar
good
Child, this
I
is
might
the
read it.
book that you feel like has bad representation. For
Yeah.
August, so we're all gonna be cringing,
I think
and
that's what
that's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be like
do.
the most short line.
I think I'm gonna read Love Lies and Other Filters. Yeah, just I need to know. I'm so curious. I need to know because I feel like I might have the same opinions as everybody else about the Muslim representation, but I still wanna because I'm really curious. And as somebody,
That's how I feel about A Very Large Expanse of Sea. I'm like the only Muslim person that hasn't read it, and me and Tahiry have the same name, and so I just feel like it's about time I stop avoiding this book and read it.
I mean,
Very funny.
I read it. Personally, I didn't like it.
Okay.
I felt I was it's a no for me, dog. But if you do read it, I'm interested. I'm interested to hear what you think.
We're gonna do a reading vlog if you want me to read.
The only reason
Suggest some books
I was doing
with bad Muslim representation.
right. And honestly, I didn't even know A Large Expanse of Sea existed until Aisha texted me and she was like, "Hey, let's do a live show together." I was like, "Oh, cool, okay." So that's the only reason I bought it, and I was like, "Oh, never mind." So it's one of I recently did an unhaul video, and it's on that book is on that list, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Yeah. My
You know what's
apologies.
funny though? I feel like
Yeah.
we have to acknowledge that, like I was saying, with internment and even Love Lies and Other Filters, and even books like those, a lot of Muslim people that write these stories that we don't, that are most of the Muslim populace don't enjoy, is because they really do write from a place of trauma. Like, imagine, here's a good example. This is a good example. If you have read All American Muslim Girl, which I still need to send to you, I'm literally like, I'm looking at it. Like, it's gonna go in the mail. And it's gonna get to you, inshallah, I promise. But the main character, her dad, is traumatized by, I guess, how strict his parents were Islamically. So in the book, I identify her first and last name. Her name is I think Aliyah Ibrahim, and they literally call her Ali Abraham, literally. Like, on documents, that's her name. Like, they just gentrify the hell out of it. But imagine if, like, her dad wrote a book. That's what, like, Internment and Love Lies and Other Filters, and even the Hollow movie. Like, a lot of Muslim people you'll see, they're writing from places of trauma and hurt. And I talked about this in my Hollow video. Like, I feel like, of course, the director, she knows some stuff in that trailer was messy, and that movie was messy. But the publishing and the film and TV industries are taking advantage of the Muslim people that have unfortunate stories and relationships with Islam, and then pushing it out as if that is the experience of everybody. And I feel like it's so purposeful. Like, there's no way. Like, I forgot this. Who's this author? What's her name? She's the one that co-wrote that book with Becky Albertalli. All of her books.
Yes, no, maybe? Is that the new one?
Yes. Her name is Aisha. Is it Aisha Saeed? I think that's her name.
I think so.
I feel like that's her name.
I think, yeah.
But all of her books have to do with a Muslim girl running away from an arranged marriage, something abusive, like fleeing the country, whatever. And then so it's not a surprise she's writing a book about a Muslim girl with a non-Muslim guy who's Jewish, and like, it stems from places of hurt and trauma and unfortunate experiences that they've had, and of course you need to hear these stories because, like we were saying earlier, about reading things that make you uncomfortable. And that's how I felt about watching Hala. Like, the movie was very
you've
special.
Seen it? I haven't seen it. I have not.
Aisha too is the reason I watched it. She told me to watch it, and now I'm upset that she made me watch it. So, very upset about that. But
I didn't want to revisit the point you were making about how, a lot of the stories that surrounding Muslim characters are written from a place of trauma And what like to have those stories and to put that out into the world because it's like they exist, they happen, and it's nice to see that. But if that's the only perspective that you're showing representation from, then we're gonna get stuck with that, and that's all we see. But it's like we also have beautiful stories. We also have good stories. We also have romance and happiness, and those things exist. And that kind of reminds me of like Tyler Perry movies, where he always depicts Black women constantly struggling and stressing and never ever being happy until the last 5 minutes of the movie. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? And that's one of the things that I absolutely, while it's important to talk about the struggle, it's also nice to talk about the things that we can celebrate, the things that make us happy. Like those all happen too. So it's like you can't just, we're not linear. That's not, you don't only have just
we're not a monolith. I don't know why we have to.
Right. And it's like when you add the Blackness to it, another layer.
Why would you think that we're all like, y'all really think that all of our fathers are sitting here forcing us to wear the scarf and they're going to sell us off in exchange for goats? Like, I'm going to need y'all.
At this point, it's tired, it's weak, put it to rest, RIP, please, because we're not buying that anymore. It's like, listen, honest, don't come at me with that, because it's not valid. It's no longer, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's so insulting to all the work that Muslim women have been doing. It's mad rude at this point for y'all to be like, oh, like, oh my god.
Right.
It's very, very unfortunate, and I think we have to see, everybody deserves to see themselves or see versions of themselves represented in the media that they consume, because we have to remember that we are consumers and we are the reasons why these things have business and why they run. Like, if we didn't buy these books, the publishing industry and these authors wouldn't have a job. Like, if we're being honest. So we have to understand the power we have here. Because if we don't, if we decide not to support or write, or not even not to support, to demand other stories, because I also don't want to take anything from Muslim people who are really just trying to do their own thing.
Right.
Like, I never want to take something from somebody, but if we don't demand for better and for more, it's not going to come. And it's so funny. I've seen so many non-Muslim people comment on like my Muslim representation video, my Hala video, talking about how they even notice how if every time they see a Muslim person, specifically a Muslim woman, she hates being Muslim, and how that's just so unnatural, because there's no way that a whole population of people just hate themselves. It logically makes no sense.
There's 2 billion. Like, do the math. It does not make sense. It shouldn't make sense. It should be sending alarms in your head. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. That can't be right. And if that's not the thought that you're thinking, then you might need to step back.
Like, and all the Muslim girls are the same. It's so frustrating. And they also all look the same. And that's a whole other conversation about how we really
more Black Muslim stories. That's another conversation that needs to happen too. But there's just like so many things. Intersectionalities, you don't even know where to begin at times. So it's really exhausting on days, because you're just like, I don't even know where to start, because there's just so many things that need to happen.
You know that I feel like it's a lot of pressure also as us as like writers. If you guys don't know me and Sumaya, we dabble in writing, just a little bit. But it's a lot because it's a lot because we know we're gonna be damn near the first. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. See, that's part of the thing that I think is like really, it makes me uncomfortable that we are in 2020 and still having the first Black person this, the first Asian person this, the first that should not be the case. It's 2020. We should be like having weird technology things made, not me sitting here talking to you about racism. Like, that shit we are, so it's like, what's going on? So
like Hala could have been a good example. I saw somebody tweet. They were like, "Can we just get a movie about like Muslim girls skating?" And I'm like, "Bruh, that would have been fire." Like, a whole movie and she's like, let's just say competitive skateboarding. Like, I was like, girl.
Yes, I would watch that. I would give you all my money for that. But no, you had to go and make it all bland and let me
It
not
was
curse.
bad.
Listen,
If
this
for
is
anybody
family friendly.
watching, I'm doing you a favor. Please don't watch Hala. Like, please don't watch it. If it wasn't the fact that it's just bad Muslim representation, the girl actually needs therapy, and to the point where I don't care. This is kind of a spoiler. She tried to sleep with her teacher.
Astaghfirullah.
Okay. She showed up to his house. She showed up to his house with her hijab off. She's 17, 18. She's 17. Like, who wrote this? Who wrote this?
What?
Sumaya shook.
I am shooketh. Oh my god. I didn't even oh damn. That's all kinds of stupid. I don't even know where to what? Ew.
Please don't.
I'm speechless. And that doesn't usually happen because I'll be talking all the time, but I can't even say anything right now. That's crazy. Oh my god. Wow. I'm definitely not gonna watch that now. I'm just gonna say
also, make sure y'all commenting. Let us know how you thought about your books. A lot of you guys, somebody else read Unashamed, which I love because the book was
I can read that now.
Yeah. She was brutally honest. And you know what I think the best part about, like, when Muslim people speak about that, I think we have this idea that Muslims have to be portrayed as perfect, specifically on social media, and that's really not the case. Right. A lot of us do we know that everybody struggles, and I think the thing that was missing in Muslim representation, A, is actual Muslim people being involved in the process, because in a lot of these books and movies and shows, there's no Muslim people around. But B, also understanding that, yeah, they did X, Y, and Z, but there's a lack of a connection with Islam, specifically with Allah. That's what bothered me about internment. I'm like, she is literally in a concentration camp, damn near, and she eats a lot not once. How?
Like, she can't stop thinking about David. I was like, listen, you should be thinking more about Allah and Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam instead of David, because David can't get you out of this situation. David is outside. Okay. You're not doing anything. All right. You should. Oh, I swear to God, if you go back and extract 90% of that book is just David this, David that, and I'm like, sis, that ain't it.
And that's the thing, and that's really the thing that's missing, because for all of us, we all struggle, we all sin in different ways, but the thing that makes it okay, but brings you back is your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and repenting and making tawbah and asking for forgiveness and acknowledging that certain things are wrong. That's really what's missing. Like, it's not about seeing perfect portrayals of Muslims. It's about us understanding what it means to be Muslim. Because at the end of the day, and I said this in my video, and maybe this is a little harsh, Allah forgive me, but for the most part, nobody's holding a gun to a lot of people's heads and making them do it, right? And so if you say this is what you believe, I don't know. I
feel that. And that's one of the many reasons I love from A to Z is it's so authentically Muslim. There's no way you can read that book and come out not saying it wasn't a Muslim representation. You can't separate Muslimhood from that. But it's there. It's so entrenched in everything about that story that you can't separate the two. They're one and the same. And I think that's something that we need to be more of. I don't want Islam to be a footnote and then you try and pass that off as Muslim representation, because that's not gonna fly.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Like, she'd be like, my name is Aisha, my name is Layla.
It's like, oh,
500 pages later.
Cool. There's plenty of non-Muslim folks who have Arabic names. That don't mean anything to me. I'm sorry.
Girl.
That's one of the things that I want to talk about was in A Large Expanse of Sea. This isn't a spoiler, but in one of the scenes, they talk about, they give Ramadan, which is something that is insanely important to all Muslims, like a paragraph. But then talk about Thanksgiving for like 2 pages, and I'm like, what? I'm sorry. And that's one of the things that I was like, you can't say this is Muslim representation, but Islam is barely a footnote. Like it's barely there. Because that's not Muslim representation. When
It's
you're
a
watching,
story written by a Muslim author who has a Muslim main protagonist.
mm-hmm. That's just it. That's it.
But
That's all there is to it. And it's like, I don't really, yeah, I don't know. And that's why I like stan S.K. Ali so hard, because her books are just unapologetically Muslim. And I will forever stan. And Saints and Misfits sequel is coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but I know it's a thing that she's working on. And
I'm thinking about making that our group read, because for those who don't know, obviously every month me and my co-host were all reading different books just because I didn't want to do anything spoiler and I wanted people to have more freedom with the books that they were reading. Mm-hmm. But maybe the group book will be the sequel. That's what I'm thinking.
I will be excited. I'm just waiting for the sequel to come out. I'm just waiting for S.K. Ali to write more YA novels. I'm really excited. If like y'all haven't read any of book like either of S.K. Ali's books or like The Proudest Blue, because that's a kid's book, but if you haven't read anything by S.K. Ali, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm gonna read some of these comments. There's so many. Sorry. It's awesome to envision how we see Muslim rep beyond the Western/non-Muslim gaze in characters who don't like being Muslim. Yes, I agree with that 100%. It's just to see more of that authentic Muslim representation from Muslim people. It's nice. Okay. My face is not frozen. I'm just reading the comments. Like your screen is fine. I'm just trying to read the comments and see if I don't think I can reply, but I'm saying. Okay. I'm just reading some of these comments.
Oh, we can talk about real quick. We can talk about what our plans are for next month. So I was kind of conflicted about my challenges because February is a lot. February was World Hijab Day. February also was History Month, and it's also Valentine's Day. People naturally are just in the lovey-dovey mood. So I was like, I don't know how to do these challenges, but we go with we went with a Black Muslim author because
it's Black History Month. Come on.
Yeah, come on. But challenge for the month of March is to read a book featuring a Muslim love interest. So excited! Any excuse to read Love from A to Z.
Okay, you already know. Don't even listen. Love from A to Z. This is like the third time that I'm reading this book, and I'm not even gonna apologize because it's just it is what it is. At this point, like anybody, it's just listen. Love from A to Z. I will rep for that book till the day that I die. Even in the Akhirah, I'll be like, hey, you read Love from A to Z?
I read the first one through ebook because I don't know if you remember, was it like Riveted, like the Simon King thingy? They were doing during like Christmas, they were doing free ebooks kind of every day on Twitter, and I snagged up Love from A to Z and also Sorcery of Thorns, which I just read, which is cool. But yeah, so Sajid, who I love so much, who from the channel Books on My Social Life, if you guys aren't subscribed to him, he sent me a copy of.
Wonderful.
I was so happy he sent it to me. So it's a brand new copy, just waiting to be annotated. Just
yes.
So excited. I'm trying to maybe read 2 books because hopefully, if I can send you this in time, you can read All American Muslim Girl because when I tell you, you're gonna cry. You're like literally. I had to message Nadine Joy Courtney, the author, and I was like, bruh. Like, I was just like,
right.
bruh.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I didn't even have words. It was literally a book that it made me, I feel like it made me a better person, a better Muslim. Like, when Ali was talking about praying, I would be like, I'm gonna pray it. Like, when, like, literally stuff like that, when she would mention, like, her reading Quran and, like, her studying and blah, 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 I would be like, what the last time
I love that.
Girl, it was, I was like, this is
so awesome.
we need to see young Muslim people being Muslim. And she wasn't perfect, but she had, so for people that don't know the story of All American Muslim Girl, the synopsis is we have Ali Abraham, and she is Syrian and Circassian. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. That's where she's wrong.
Yeah, because
also. But, yeah, she's Circassian and Syrian, and so she's white passing, and she lives in Texas, and she doesn't really practice Islam. She doesn't speak about it. She's not even. It's kind of this secret that she's had for her entire life. Right. And being in, I guess, her school, there's an MSA, and she starts seeing, I guess, like, Muslim people and being more exposed to Muslim people her age, like practicing and stuff. And so she was just like, oh, okay, I kind of forgot that, I'm Muslim. Like, literally, she didn't even know certain things. She didn't know very basic things that Muslim people know. Very, very simple stuff. And so she kind of becomes a part of the rural Muslim study group. They meet up and they discuss they discuss different Islamic topics. They have, like, little debates. They I don't know, it's a lot. It's amazing. And even that group, they're all diverse. Like, there's a black girl, I think one of them is maybe Asian, and I just love the story. And even though she does have a boyfriend who she got with before she really started practicing, her being Muslim is, once she starts practicing, it's such a prominent part of their relationship. Like, if you notice in a lot of these stories with Muslim, it's usually Muslim girls and non-Muslim guys, they act as if her being Muslim is just non-existent. And that's how you know that your relationship is stemming from nonsense. Like, because in reality, if you can't accept and love the fact that you're Muslim and you're Muslim, that's a part of, like, you not loving yourself. And so a lot of these stories that we read about with these Muslim girls with, like, in, like, non-Muslim relationships, in relationships with guys that are not Muslim, even though, like, I know people have opinions about that, at the end of the day, no healthy relationship is going to stem from you denying who you are or ignoring who you are. So when she starts practicing, she's kind of just like, like, I'm Muslim and this means X, Y, and Z for me, and this is what, kind of my life is about. And he kind of, she doesn't give him an ultimatum, which I like, but they definitely do discuss potential things in the future. And I don't know, I love the story. I love All American Muslim Girl. We stand. Yes. Also, A to Z. Another good book that I recommend reading for the next challenge. I'm trying to think, what's another one? I said that specifically because I still want people to support Muslim authors, and we do still, like we talked about before, need representation. If somebody reads Yes, No, Maybe So, please let me know what it's about.
Yeah.
How is it,
also has a Muslim love interest, but it's not as prominent of a relationship because it's still, like, very much in the background. But I would recommend that also if y'all haven't read it. I would be talking about Ali, like, out of my business. Like,
speaking of relationships, this is in a different way, but what I loved the second time about reading Mirage was her faith. I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I was like,
I didn't catch that either. Okay.
She had a very special relationship with, we'll say, her God, because we know what she was talking about, but y'all know who she was talking about. But she had a very special relationship with how she practiced in her faith, and I love that. That was, like, one of the first times I saw somewhat Muslim representation because obviously for the sake of the fantastical world, it's not called Islam. They're not called Muslims, but you know what she's talking about.
Right,
You know.
right. It's like
Yeah.
subtle there.
But it was so like yo. Even like their prophet, didn't their name start with an M? In the book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Messania, yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I love that.
And even like the ending, the last scene of the book, what Amani sees, it's like, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Okay, I see you. Look representation, I see it.
Right, I was
little droplet.
Like, we got you.
Yes, Girl's amazing. Another girl, we've been online for a very long time. Another coming out that another book by Muslim author coming out that we all probably know about is the final book in the Ember and the Ashes series.
I just read book 1 and I was like, how? I don't deserve for my heart to be played with like this. Listen,
how do you move on? I know.
I was not ready. I was not ready. I needed a whole therapy session after that because I was like, that's not cool. I don't deserve to be played with like this. But also, I need to read the entire series. I'm already on book 2, and how prepared should I be? How prepared should I be for my heart to be broken? I just need to know. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how brutal are we talking?
It gets. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's so worth it though, because it's just I don't know how Tahiry does it, but like it's amazing. I'm actually gonna reread the series really soon because in anticipation for the 4th and final book. If you need a book to read for Muslim representation, not Muslim representation, from a Muslim author, please read the Ember and the Ashes series. It's amazing. It's
yeah. I mean, I just started it, but I already I love it. I already know I'm gonna buy the whole series. And since book 4 isn't coming out until December, I have enough time to catch up. So but still,
for sure.
I already know that my heart is gonna be torn to pieces. I can feel it because with book 1, if book 1 was any indication, I know the rest of the book.
I'm so ready. If anyone has any last minute comments or questions before we sign off, you can ask us about anything. If you're thinking about a book you're going to read for next month, please let us know. Let me see who my co-host is for next month. I think I have co-hosts every month except for, I think I'm missing 3 months. Oh, love this. My co-host for next month is Nina from the channel Nina Reads, who is really the romance queen.
Yeah, straight up. I read romance novels until I saw her channel. I was like, I ain't got nothing on her. She's doing it.
Girl, nothing. So yeah, join us in another month.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll see us, Nina. It is going to be a fun time. We're going to read Ember 2. Yes. Do that. Please do that.
Somebody's talking about Love from
I think we're going to log on.
Oh, yes.
Somebody said what?
Somebody's talking about Love from A to Z, the fact that it has phrases that Muslim people actually say, the Quranic stories and hadith, the way the relationship is portrayed. I was so happy to see it all. Same. The fact that Adam's dad, he prays with his kids and that they make dua, all of them together. It's so cute. It's so cute. One of the scenes.
Especially her little hijab. And she was
and when she's making her du'as out loud, she gets a little she's like, I think she makes dua about her teacher who she doesn't like, and it's just so cute. It's so adorable. I'm like, listen.
Oh my god. Yeah. And even when Adam talked about when he talked about giving salam, putting his right hand over his heart. Oh my god.
Oh, that scene. I cried. I was like, SK Ali, listen. she did that. She didn't have to snap as hard as she did, but she did, and I'm glad she did because that book is just it's wonderful. I will never stop talking.
Is it true that the sequel to Saints and Misfits is gonna have an Adam in it? That's what I heard. I heard that they're gonna be.
So. I think they said that like they were gonna make a sneak, like in.
I love that. Oh my god.
Is like also a Saints and Misfit has like a little bit of a cameo, which I was like, I freaked out because I'm like, oh, so they happen in the same world. It's the same.
I haven't even read Saints and Misfits yet, so somebody please drag me. I'm gonna read it before that comes out. Also, I saw SK Ali at BookCon without really knowing who she was, and now I regret that moment not giving her the attention she deserved, because I was just like, BookCon was cool, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these little.
I feel like I would give her too much attention and freak her out. She probably gonna be like, security, go crazy, get away from me. I don't want to be that person.
BookCon, please let me know. I will be going, inshallah. It is definitely a plan to go. BookCon should be fun this year. I feel like I'm a bit more prepared going into it. Last year was my first year. I have a vlog on my channel. Go watch that if you haven't already.
Check it out. I need to go to BookCon. I'm going to all these book events, and I'm just like, I'm too broke. Yeah. But I will go someday, inshallah.
One day, inshallah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching our live show for month 2 of the Iqra Child. This was so fun. I had so much fun with Sumaya. Please go subscribe to her channel, follow her Instagram. Everything will be linked down eventually when I go do that after we get off. But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yay!
Please don't forget to hashtag Iqra Child whenever you talk about any of the books you're reading for your challenges. DM me if you have any stories by Muslim authors that you think I should add to my Google Docs list. Literally, I'm just going to keep adding to that forever. And yeah, so we're just going to sign off now. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Have a good night. Stay.
All right, bye.